This year, the Youth Takeover comes back in full force to take over the Jameel Art Center and also its vicinity. Public programs will take place around it with walks, with uses of the rooftop, of the galleries, the lobby, and more. And it's a reminder, I think, for us as an organization, as a platform, and as a space in the city, that while we do have a very robust program throughout the year, we can always pause and have a brief yet exciting moment led by the youngest, community of creators that we have around us.
So I guess like in the process of the takeover, there's obviously that one aspect where you work so closely with makers, and that's where the commission aspect comes in. But there's also the engagement with the Art Jameel Collection, and that allows for a slower kind of engagement with this theme of composite.
The show is called Composite and explores the concept of the self. Considers the different ways in which identity is constructed, whether that's individually or as a collective.
So composite is pretty much an amalgamation of all our personalities, I guess, because we look at things very differently, at least in our group.
It kind of felt that word composite made everything connect in a better way. And I think it made total sense for it to be the title of the show. Great to work with different people from different backgrounds, from different artistic backgrounds.
This was a year-long process, and when I started commissioning my artists and I brought them over to the space, they felt a connection with the space itself. And so they wanted the work to be very site-specific to the transitional space on this floor.
I kind of started by looking at the research that I was conducting beforehand and decided to take a closer look at the research that I was doing on Leptis Magna ruins in Libya.
My practice revolves around language and defining words, and finding meaning. And so when we were prompted with the word place and placemaking, the first thing I did was open a dictionary to find out what exactly it means.
So basically, what makes a place luminal? For example, the emotion of luminality, which has been a topic that's been spoken about, I approached it in a more scientific and more specific way, something that has progress and processes into it.
How do we make the viewer of this art piece realize that something is not quite right? Even though the image is shown in the banner behind me, it might be familiar and it's the room around you, but something about it is just different.
Having to find commonalities between all the 8 people, thinking about like how many commonalities we found, there's something that binds us. Even if our concepts are completely different, and if we're thinking about like different situations, there were still the keywords of like space and memory. At its core, it really is about the relationship between the individual and the space, and how both of those are affected by the relationship. So basically how the individual, or individuals plural, how they give shape to a place by being in it, by interacting with it.
It was interesting, like getting to dive into like each of the artists' minds. Like we all work in like different mediums and come from like different backgrounds. So it was very interesting to see how all that like came together and be a part of it.
The experience itself, for me, like being new in Dubai, it's like I mostly just like gravitated on like being inward, being like fully in like the narratives of like how I've been dealing with Dubai lately and the similarities of it, like me living in Manila too. So just trying to like have that similarities as a sense of comfort. So that's it.
So having to work with people in a space like Jameel has definitely helped me improve my social skills. Having to just explain stuff like my ideas to not just Danny, Shama, and the rest of the cohort, but also to describe it to people within Jameel that are, able to help me navigate those specific parts that I need to develop my installation, and so this has helped a lot.
The public program gives them, or gives all of us actually, an opportunity to transmediate and see how the same message kind of manifests in the context of film, or a conversation, or a walk, or a very sort of technical hands-on workshop. And what's the most exciting part is that you can see audiences react to what you're making in real time. It's just such an incredible way to build these connections in the most real way possible. And then you see the same audiences come back when there's something else that you're doing in the city, and then you see those support networks form really organically, which is, I think, the highlight of a program like this in general.
What the Takeover is an exercise of trust between a community of creators. And we really hope this is the space where new talents can be found, can be discovered, can be followed, and most importantly, be supported. We're pointing at so many parts of the world through this program, while also finding a home here at Jameel Art Center, and we hope everyone joins us and enjoys this.